Welcome to another episode of Chilling Tales with Teller of Tales. Today's tale is about the notorious killings of Ted Bundy, the charming monster. In the shadows of the 1970s, a man moved through the crowds, blending in so seamlessly that no one suspected the evil lurking beneath his charming smile. His name was Ted Bundy, a name that would become synonymous with terror and death. This is the story of a man who hid his monstrous nature behind the mask of normalcy, leaving a trail of horror that spanned across America. Bundy was no ordinary criminal. He was handsome, intelligent, and charismatic, traits that made him all the more dangerous. He could strike up a conversation with a stranger, flash a warm smile, and within minutes have them completely at ease. But behind that mask of charm was a calculating predator, a man who hunted young women with a cold and methodical precision. It all began in the early 1970s when reports of missing women started trickling in from various states. They were young, bright, full of life, and then they vanished. What connected them all was their last known encounter with a man who seemed trustworthy, who appeared to be someone they could help. Little did they know that their acts of kindness would be their undoing. Bundy's method was as sinister as it was effective. He would feign injury, perhaps a broken arm in a sling or a limp, and ask for assistance. His victims, drawn in by his apparent vulnerability, would offer help. It was in that moment of trust that Bundy would strike, overpowering them and dragging them into his car, where the nightmare would truly begin. For years, Bundy eluded capture, traveling from state to state, changing his appearance and his tactics, always staying one step ahead of the authorities. His crimes grew bolder, more brazen, as his thirst for power and control intensified. The bodies of his victims were often found in remote areas, discarded like mere objects after he had satisfied his dark urges. Yet despite the mounting evidence and the growing fear, Bundy managed to maintain the facade of a law-abiding citizen. He studied law, worked in political campaigns, and even had a long-term girlfriend. To those who knew him, Bundy was the last person they would suspect of such heinous acts, but the mask could only stay on for so long. In 1975, Bundy was finally arrested, but even then, his reign of terror was far from over. He escaped from custody not once, but twice, using his intelligence and cunning to outwit his captors. Each time he escaped, more women died. It seemed as if nothing could stop him, until the fateful night of January 15, 1978, when he broke into the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University. What happened next was a scene of unimaginable horror. Bundy brutally attacked 4 women, killing 2 of them, before fleeing into the night. This time, however, he would not escape justice. Less than a month later, he was captured in Pensacola, Florida, after a routine traffic stop. The trial that followed was a media sensation. Bundy, ever the showman, acted as his own defense attorney, charming the court and the public with his wit and intelligence. But the evidence against him was overwhelming, and in 1979, he was convicted of the Chi Omega murders and sentenced to death. Even in prison, Bundy continued to manipulate and deceive. He confessed to 30 murders, though the true number of his victims may never be known. He granted interviews, played mind games with investigators, and even got married in the courtroom during one of his trials. But time was running out for Ted Bundy. On January 24, 1989, he was executed in the electric chair, bringing an end to one of the most chilling chapters in American criminal history. Yet the legacy of fear he left behind endures, a haunting reminder of the evil that can hide behind the most innocent of faces. Ted Bundy was not just a killer. He was a predator who used his charm as a weapon, luring his victims to their doom with a smile. His story is a dark warning that sometimes the monsters we fear the most are not the ones who hide in the shadows, but the ones who walk among us, hiding in plain sight. And so, the name Ted Bundy is etched into history, not just as a serial killer, but as a symbol of the terrifying potential for evil within the human soul. A man who taught us that the devil doesn't always come with horns and a pitchfork. Sometimes he comes with a friendly face and a smile. Like, share, and subscribe to Teller of Tales 101 for more true crime stories that delve into the darkest corners of the human psyche.